Financial Freedom, A Proven Path to All the Money You Will Ever Need by Grant Sabatier. Picture this. You're 24 years old, and you've checked all the boxes society told you to check. Good university? Done. Solid grades? Check. Job? Right after graduation? You nailed it. You've officially entered what everyone keeps calling the real world. Then one morning, reality hits differently. You wake up in your childhood bedroom, staring at the same ceiling you stared at in high school. You're unemployed, back living with your parents, and when you finally work up the courage to check your bank account, there it is. $2.26. That's your entire net worth. Not enough for a decent burrito, barely enough to add guacamole. After all those years of following the rules, playing it safe, doing what you were supposed to do, this is what you have to show for it. That sinking feeling in your stomach, that sense of being completely trapped, that's exactly where our story begins today. This rock-bottom moment belonged to a young guy named Grant Sabatier. And what happened next sounds almost impossible. In just 5 years, he transformed that pathetic $2.26 into a net worth exceeding $1 million. No lottery jackpot. No surprise inheritance from a long-lost uncle. He simply discovered a different way forward, a proven path that actually works. Welcome to the Billionaire's Bookshelf. Today, we're exploring a book that's become a modern classic for good reason, Financial Freedom by Grant Sabatier. This isn't your typical advice about clipping coupons or skipping your daily latte. This is a complete roadmap. It's about fundamentally rethinking how money, time, and happiness connect in your life. Here's what I promise you'll walk away with. By the end of our time together, you'll understand that retirement isn't some magical age you hit in your 60s. It's actually a number you can reach way sooner than you think. You'll discover that the real goal isn't just piling up money in a bank account, but using that money to reclaim your most precious, irreplaceable resource, your time. And you'll see that the freedom to wake up each morning and do whatever you want with your day isn't some fairy tale reserved for trust fund babies. It's actually a learnable skill, and we're going to learn it together, right now. Let's rewind to that pivotal moment. Grant Sabatier is lying on the grass in his parents' backyard, staring up at the sky. His bank account has just over $2 in it. Everything feels like it's closing in around him. He starts imagining what the next 40 years look like. Trapped in some depressing office cubicle, watching his life tick away minute by minute on a computer screen, trading away his best years for a paycheck that barely keeps the lights on. He pictures the conventional path everyone seems to follow, the one that dangles retirement like a carrot somewhere in your golden years, if you're lucky enough to get there. And right then, something clicks. That traditional path, it's completely broken. He doesn't want to wait 40 years before he can actually live his life. He refuses to trade 70,000 hours of his one precious existence just to, what exactly? Finally relax when he's too old and tired to chase the dreams that matter? So he makes a decision that sounds absolutely crazy. He sets a seemingly impossible goal. Reach financial independence and save $1 million as fast as humanly possible. He has no clue how he's going to pull it off. But he knows exactly why it matters. And this brings us to the beating heart of this entire book, the single most important truth you'll ever learn about money. It's so simple that it sounds obvious, yet so powerful it changes everything once you really get it. Time is more valuable than money. Think about this for a second. If some 90-year-old billionaire walked up to you and offered you $100 million to trade places with him, would you take the deal? Of course not. Why? Because while you can always figure out ways to make more money, you can never, ever manufacture more time. We each get roughly 25,000 days in our adult lives. That's it. The traditional approach tells us to trade most of those days away for money. Grant's philosophy flips that completely upside down. He teaches us to use money as a tool, to buy back our days, to buy back our freedom. The goal isn't to retire in the old-school sense of sitting on a beach somewhere doing absolutely nothing. The goal is reaching a point where work becomes completely optional. It's waking up on a Monday morning with total control over your time. Doing work you genuinely love, not work you need to survive. This is what he calls financial independence. So how do you actually get there? The first step is to stop guessing and start calculating. You need to figure out your destination. You need to discover your number. Your number is the amount of money you need invested so that you can live off the income your investments generate, forever, without ever touching a paycheck again. Now you're probably thinking, that must be some massive number, like millions and millions of dollars. But here's one of the most surprising revelations in the entire book. The younger you are, the less money you actually need to retire. Sounds backwards, right? But it's true, all because of the magic of compound growth. If you hit your number at age 30, your money has 50 more years to grow and multiply compared to someone who retires at 60. Even when you're pulling out a bit each year to cover your living expenses, your money tree keeps growing, and the fruit it produces gets bigger and bigger over time. So, how do you calculate this magical number? It's surprisingly straightforward. The common rule of thumb, based on a famous study called the Trinity Study, says you need to save roughly 25 times your expected annual expenses. Let's make this real with an example. Say you figure out you can live a genuinely happy, fulfilling life on $40,000 a year. You multiply that by 25. Your number would be $1 million. If you need $50,000 a year, your number jumps to $1.25 million. The math is beautifully simple. Your annual expenses times 25 equals your number. Once you've got that money invested properly, you can safely withdraw about 4% of it each year to live on. With a $1 million portfolio, 4% gives you $40,000. And because the stock market, over the long haul, has historically grown by more than 4% per year, your original investment doesn't just survive, it actually keeps growing. You're eating the fruit without ever chopping down the tree. But staring at a huge number like $1 million can feel overwhelming when you're starting from nothing. That's why Grant breaks the journey down into 7 levels of financial freedom. Think of it like levels in a video game. You don't have to defeat the final boss on your first day of playing. Level 1 is clarity. You're just figuring out where you are right now and where you want to go. Level 2 is self-sufficiency, where you're earning enough to cover your own bills without help. Level 3 is breathing room, where you finally escape that exhausting paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. Level 4 is stability, having 6 months of living expenses tucked away safely. Level 5 is flexibility, with at least 2 years of expenses invested. This is where you start feeling genuine freedom. You could take a year off work if you wanted to, without panicking. Level 6 is financial independence, where you've hit your number and work becomes completely optional. And Level 7 is abundant wealth, where you have more money than you'll ever actually need. Breaking it down this way makes the whole journey feel achievable. You just focus on climbing to the next level, one step at a time. Alright, so you've got your why, buying back your time, and you've got your what, hitting your number. Now we get to the exciting part, the how. This is Grant's 7-step, fast-track strategy for getting there. It starts not with spreadsheets and numbers, but with your mindset. Step 1 is radically shifting how you think about money. Most of us grew up seeing money through this lens of scarcity, that it's limited, hard to come by, and we should be scared of losing it. Grant teaches us to see money completely differently, through 11 specific mindsets. The most powerful one? Understanding the true cost of everything you buy. That $3 cup of coffee isn't really just $3. To grasp its actual cost, you first need to calculate your real hourly wage. Not what your paycheck stub says you make per hour. Your real hourly wage accounts for all the hidden time your job steals from you. The commute, getting ready in the morning, unwinding after a brutal week. When Grant did this calculation for himself, his supposed $20 per hour job was actually paying him closer to $10 an hour after factoring in all that stolen time. So suddenly, that $3 coffee actually costs you about 17 minutes of your life. That shiny new $40,000 car? That might cost you 2 full years of your working life. Everything changes. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "Is this worth the chunk of my life I have to trade for it?" And it gets even more eye-opening when you consider future value. Every dollar you spend today is a dollar you can't invest for tomorrow. That $3 coffee, if you invested it instead, could be worth over $100 in 40 years thanks to compound growth. That $40,000 car could grow to over $500,000 by the time you're ready to retire. You're not just spending $40,000 in the present moment. You're trading away $500,000 of your future freedom. This mindset shift becomes your foundation. It transforms every purchase into a conscious choice between pleasure right now and freedom down the road. Step 2 is where Grant breaks a sacred rule: stop budgeting. He actually hates traditional budgets. He says they reinforce that scarcity mindset we're trying to escape and make you feel guilty about every little thing. They make you obsess over tiny expenses, like that coffee, which often bring you the most genuine joy. Instead, he offers what he calls the only budget you'll ever need. Focus all your energy on optimizing your 3 biggest expenses: housing, transportation, and food. These 3 categories devour nearly 70% of the average person's income. If you can make significant cuts here, you can completely forget about tracking every last dollar you spend on small pleasures. He shares some radical but brilliant strategies. For housing, the biggest expense of all, he introduces house hacking. This is where you buy a 2 or 3 bedroom home, live in one room, and rent out the others. The rent from your roommates can literally cover your entire mortgage. You end up living completely free. Even better, you could buy a multi-unit property, live in one unit, and the rent from the other units doesn't just cover your mortgage but actually generates extra cash flow every month. You're getting paid to have a place to live. For transportation, he pushes you to always buy used cars, preferably with cash, avoiding the wealth-draining trap of car payments. And he introduces the art of travel hacking, using credit card points and smart strategies to explore the world for almost nothing. By focusing on these massive wins, you can dramatically increase your savings rate, the percentage of your income you actually save, which Grant identifies as the single most important metric for reaching financial independence quickly. This brings us to steps 3 and 4, hacking your 9-to-5 job and launching a profitable side hustle. This is the core of the income acceleration engine. Remember, you can only slash your expenses so far, but there's literally no ceiling on how much money you can earn. Your full-time job isn't just a place to collect a paycheck, it's your launching pad. Grant shows you exactly how to determine your real market value by talking to recruiters and researching salaries online. Then, how to calculate your actual value to the company, how much money they're really making off your work. Armed with this concrete data, you can walk into your boss's office and negotiate a significant raise, not based on emotions or begging, but on hard facts. One person who read his blog used this exact method to secure an $80,000 raise. But the real secret weapon is the side hustle. This is any way you make money outside of your regular job. Early on, Grant was doing literally everything. He built websites for law firms, ran digital marketing campaigns, flipped vintage mopeds, and even sold concert tickets online. The key, he explains, is to eventually move beyond simply trading your hours for dollars, like driving for a rideshare service. The most profitable side hustles are ones where you work for yourself, that can scale up, and that have the potential to become passive income, money that flows in even while you're sleeping. He provides a framework for discovering your perfect side hustle. Start with your passions and your skills. What do you genuinely love doing? What are you naturally good at? Then, look for where those two things overlap with real market demand. He shares the story of Matt, a 25-year-old graphic designer who loved dogs. He started a small dog-walking side hustle that eventually exploded into a company, generating $200,000 a year, 4 times his full-time salary. The strategy with your side hustle is to take every single dollar you earn and invest it immediately. This is like pouring rocket fuel on your financial fire. It dramatically accelerates your journey to your number. And that brings us to the final and most powerful steps: investing your money strategically. This is where your money starts making money for you, without you lifting a finger. Grant's investment strategy here is beautiful in its elegant simplicity. He cuts through all the confusing jargon in the investing world and boils everything down to a clear 7-step plan anyone can follow. First, he says you should invest almost entirely in low-cost index funds. What's an index fund? Imagine you could buy one single investment that instantly gave you a tiny slice of ownership in almost every major company in the country: Apple, Amazon, Google, and thousands more. That's exactly what a total stock market index fund does. Instead of trying to pick individual winning stocks, a game that even 90% of professional money managers lose at over the long term, you simply bet on the growth of the entire economy. Over time, the market has always trended upward. By owning a piece of everything, you ride that wave. These funds also have incredibly low fees, which turns out to be critical. Fees are like a silent cancer, slowly eating away at your investments. Even a seemingly tiny 1% fee can devour hundreds of thousands of dollars of your returns over a lifetime. The strategy is then to fill up different investment accounts in a specific, tax-efficient order. It's like systematically filling a series of buckets. Bucket 1. If your employer offers a 401k match, you contribute just enough to capture the full match. This is literally free money. It's an instant 100% return on your investment. You absolutely must do this first. Bucket 2. You max out a health savings account, or HSA, if you have access to one. It's one of the most powerful retirement accounts because the money goes in tax-free, grows tax-free, and comes out tax-free when used for medical expenses. It's triple tax-advantaged. Bucket 3. You max out a Roth IRA. This is a retirement account where your money grows completely tax-free, and you can withdraw it all tax-free in retirement. It's an incredible deal. Bucket 4. You circle back to your 401k and contribute the maximum amount the government allows each year. Bucket 5. If you're earning side hustle income, you open a SEP IRA or solo 401k and pour money in there, which also reduces your tax bill significantly. And finally, Bucket 6. Any money left over after maxing out all the tax-advantaged accounts goes into a regular taxable brokerage account, still invested in those same low-cost index funds. By following this specific order, you're legally minimizing the amount you pay in taxes, which means more of your hard-earned money stays invested and working for you instead of going to the government. But here's where you might be scratching your head. All these retirement accounts, 401 kiloseconds IRAs, they have this rule: you're not supposed to touch the money until you're 59.5 years old, or you get hit with a penalty. So how on earth do you retire at 30 or 40? Grant reveals a brilliant but lesser-known strategy used by the early retirement community called a Roth conversion ladder. It sounds complicated at first, but the concept is actually simple. You systematically move money from your pre-tax 401k into a traditional IRA, and then you convert a portion of that money into a Roth IRA each year. When you do the conversion, yes, you pay income taxes on that converted amount. But here's the magic trick. 5 years after you convert that specific chunk of money, you can withdraw it from your Roth IRA completely tax-free and penalty-free, no matter how young you are. So the strategy works like this. You build up a 5-year cash buffer to live on first. During those 5 years, you start your Roth conversion ladder, converting chunks each year. By the time your cash cushion runs out in year 6, the money from your very first conversion is now ready and waiting to be withdrawn, completely legally. You've successfully unlocked your retirement accounts decades before the official retirement age. This is the complete path laid out before you. It's a total system that works together. It begins with fundamentally shifting your mindset about time and money. It focuses on winning big with your major expenses, rather than obsessing over pennies. It accelerates your income through both optimizing your career and building side hustles. And it funnels all of that money into a simple, powerful investment engine that you can unlock early to buy your freedom back. This is exactly how Grant Sabatier went from $2.26 to millionaire status in just 5 years. And it's the precise path he lays out for anyone willing to commit and follow it. When you finish reading a book like Financial Freedom, it feels like someone just pulled back a heavy curtain on a secret that was hiding in plain sight the whole time. For so many of us, the concept of retirement is this vague, distant thing we associate with getting old and worn out. We're taught to grind away for 40 years, save whatever we can squeeze out, and cross our fingers hoping for the best. What Grant Sabatier does so brilliantly is completely reframe the entire conversation. He shows us that financial freedom isn't the finish line at the end of a long, exhausting race. It's actually the starting line for the life you've always wanted to live. The most powerful lesson for me isn't buried in the intricate details of a Roth conversion ladder or the perfect negotiation tactics for getting a raise. It's this simple, profound idea that every single dollar is a vote for your future self. Every dollar you choose to save and invest is a little piece of freedom you're actively buying back. When you start seeing money not as something meant to be spent, but as a tool designed to reclaim your time, your entire worldview shifts. You stop asking, what can I buy with this, and start asking, how much time can I buy back with this? This is fundamentally a book of incredible optimism. In a world where it's so easy to feel like the system is rigged against regular people, Sabatier offers a genuinely empowering message. He demonstrates that with the tools available to us today, the internet, the gig economy, easy access to low-cost investing, it has honestly never been easier to build real wealth on your own terms. He reminds us that our financial destiny isn't something that just happens to us randomly. It's something we can actively construct, one intentional decision at a time. But it's also a book grounded in honesty. It forces you to wrestle with some hard questions. What truly makes you happy, deep down? Are you spending money on things that genuinely align with your values? Or are you just desperately trying to keep up with everyone else? Are you willing to trade a few years of intense focus and hard work for decades of complete freedom? The path definitely isn't easy, but as Grant clearly shows, it is simple, and it is proven to work. So how can you start today, right this second? Here are 3 simple actions you can take, inspired directly by the book. First, grab a piece of paper and spend 10 minutes calculating your real hourly wage. Figure out all the actual time your job costs you, commute, prep time, everything. This one small exercise will fundamentally transform the way you look at every price tag you encounter. Second, log into your employer's 401k portal right now and increase your contribution by just 1%. You probably won't even notice the difference in your paycheck, but that tiny 1% will compound into tens of thousands of dollars over the years. It's a small win that proves to yourself that you're taking control. Third, grab another piece of paper and write down 3 skills you have. Just 3 things you're decent at. Now for each one, brainstorm one simple way you could potentially get paid for it as a side hustle. You don't have to launch it tomorrow morning, but just the act of seeing your existing skills as potential income streams opens up a whole world of possibility in your mind. That was our deep dive into Financial Freedom by Grant Sabatier. We've explored the core concepts today, but I'll be completely honest with you. A summary is like looking at a photograph of a stunning landscape. The real magic only happens when you actually walk through it yourself. The book is packed with personal stories, detailed calculations, real-world examples, and a level of motivational energy that can only truly be experienced firsthand. This summary is designed to help you decide if this journey resonates with you. If anything we've talked about has sparked even a small fire inside you, if you felt even a glimmer of possibility, then I encourage you to grab a copy of this book. Reading it isn't just about absorbing information. It's an experience that can genuinely rewire the way you see your money, your time, and your entire future. The link to the book is waiting in the description below. Also, if you found this summary valuable and want to keep exploring the ideas that shape the world's most successful people, please take just a moment to hit that subscribe button. It makes sure you won't miss our next journey into another potentially life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep growing together, one book at a time.